made it. This is episode 20, Married, Mature, and Unfiltered. You know what I'm saying? Get a little round of applause for number 20. Number 20. And the topic today is basically, from an entrepreneurial spirit, when you're stepping off the hamster wheel. When do you step off? When do you recognize the hamster wheel, step off of it into the darkness of being an entrepreneur? Because we all know stuff that comes with that.
Married, mature, and unfiltered, yes, raw. Grown conversations stemming from the things that they saw, things they heard. What's the word? Brocky and Trina have a ball as they sit here on the mic, they uncovering it all. Married, mature, and unfiltered, yes, real. Humor and honesty and thrills, guaranteed to give you chills. Laughter and lessons, that's the deal. Yes, much they have to say. Come and learn about love on the grown-up way. Yeah.
We have our first guest this week. Right, from Married Mature, first guest, right?
Yes, we haven't had any, right? We've only called people.
Yeah. Dr. Sharitta Gross is in the building. My sister. What up, Sha?
What up, E-Money?
Hey, man, Sha Money XL in the building. We got nicknames. Trina's in the building.
Hey,
as beautiful as ever.
What's up, Chef?
Chef? Cooking up something marvelous.
I'm off the clock now.
You off the clock now?
I'm done. We'll
accept that. We'll accept that.
I'm off the clock.
Yeah, well, It was fun while it lasted.
It was good.
Thank you for the rack of Korean barbecue lamb and the avocado toast this morning.
Anytime.
Fantastic. You know,
Anytime.
I don't know how to cook.
Let the Lord use you in the kitchen.
What's good, y'all? How y'all doing?
Cool. Sure.
I have a question to open up with.
Oh, okay.
Since I got two members of the Black woman delegation in the building.
Oh, Lord.
I'm going to start off by asking y'all.
Oh, gosh. I'm afraid.
Why do you hate black men?
Are you serious?
It's been great. I'm going to that.
You didn't just ask that question.
We did not discuss this.
Oh, man. What's good, man? Talk to me.
Nothing.
How you
don't
feeling?
hate black men.
At
you
all.
hate black man?
No.
At all.
I'm good. That's good because I'm a black man.
Yeah.
You don't say.
Is there a hate black man narrative on the internet, you think?
Yeah. Well, I think that there's a hate men narrative.
Oh, shit. It don't matter what color you are.
It doesn't matter the color. It's just that a hate men type of. It's just a discomfort of men or a
the bear over the man.
I was just thinking that. Yeah.
That's kind of crazy,
women
man.
Choosing a bear.
That's kind of crazy.
I think there's some facets of what men do that women might hate, but to say that you hate men, that's too broad of a stroke to paint with the brush.
Okay.
I don't think it's. I think it's certain things, just like it's certain things that some men might hate about women. But I don't think it's a women hate men thing. I think one of the biggest things that's going on right now as far as men and women is the insensitivity that some people feel that men that are in leadership roles politically are taking towards women in their reproductive health, their rights, etc.
Well, yeah, we talk about politics.
Yeah, so there's, or just, healthcare. And sometimes the insensitivity that we're shown, we go to the doctor. If you have a male physician or whatever the case might be, but I don't think anybody hates.
Wow, so...
well, the patriarchy.
Yes.
Yeah, but does that in this topic? Okay, it wasn't really on the board, but I just wanted to be funny, open up. But doesn't that bleed over into the industry itself and becomes a practice outside of the male piece? Like looking at black women saying black women are stronger, so they can take more pain, or black women don't need certain type of treatment because of A, B, and C reason. Does that not bleed over into women doctors, black doctors, so on and so forth?
I don't know if they have biases. That's what you're talking about. You said that they
Well,
have
yeah,
biases.
like sometimes we get conditioned, right?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking in that industry, are they conditioned to approach black women differently than they might approach a white woman?
Research shows that yes.
Right? Anybody.
There is research that shows that black patients are looked at as far as their pain tolerance differently. And for some people, as per social media and everything that's under, you can't believe, however, I know some doctors personally, that when they were in medical school, there were certain trainings that they received they didn't realize in the moment was biased. But it was, as far as, if this person comes in and complains about X, it's actually Y. It's not really that they need anything. You might want to check their chart to see if there's a pattern of opioid requests or things of that nature. So now you're looking at, does that person have a history of needing painkillers, as opposed to really looking at the history of, does this person have fibroids or polyps that's causing pain? Because you can't measure how somebody is feeling when they tell you that, I'm having abdominal pain. Your job is actually not to judge, is to actually explore, diagnose what that pain is coming from, and the frequency of it on the scale of 1 to 10. Sharita, how are you feeling, type of thing. But there is research that does demonstrate that it's thought that Black people, or Black women specifically, can tolerate pain more. That's why you're also seeing a lot in the media about women and mortality rates as it relates to women who are giving birth, and how we have a lot more Black women that are dying in sometimes preventable ways when they're in the process of giving birth. And it's not just HELP syndrome or the prenatal diabetes or high blood pressure, rather, that some people sometimes experience. So
anything to add?
Also just the dismissal sometimes. Like, they put perimenopause as like a mania of sorts, and not really studied a lot. It's a chapter. I heard some doctors say, it was just a chapter in my course, or it was a very short unit that we went over menopause and perimenopause and what exactly that means. There's not a lot of research. Most of the research that's happening now is really new. It's like since the 2000s that they're introducing information about perimenopause and how to address it, how to study it, how to address symptoms, how to...
Hold on, I gotta fix that. I gotta check that.
Okay. You about to get evicted.
It sure is. No toys for you.
No toys.
That's editing for me. You're a bastard. Little son of a bitch.
Okay, that was enough.
He is a son of a bitch.
You always do that.
Lord have mercy. You've been demoted, Beans, from quality engineer to SOB.
I'm sorry, Trina, you were so rudely interrupted by Beans.
I was.
He's a quality control engineer. He was trying to make sure everything was sturdy by bumping into it.
Now look at him now, looking like he lost and hopeless.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So like with perimenopause and things like that, or they're now reclassifying PCOS. Polycystic ovarian syndrome now into a new medical term for people, so that it can actually be addressed in a different format, and even how insurance is going to cover it now related to those issues, because it's a endocrine issue, and making it a syndrome before was kind of miscategorizing the experience that women were having medically.
That's evolution, right, of the medical industries and so on and so forth, science and research.
Legislation.
Well, all those years though.
Yeah, legislation for women's health is like newly revamped.
Right.
Well, even in the way that perimenopause is being approached, because there was a time when hysterectomy was the go-to solution. And there was a lot of side-eyeing at HRT, hormone replacement therapy. And now there are so many different things that can be done as far as let me just pause here, though. The caveat is that you have to advocate for yourself, because you get some doctors that'll be like, well, are you having hot flashes? Are you having mood swings? And those are some of the main indicators to a lot of people, even in the medical field. I'm blessed that I have a doctor who is very much a good listener, and not just so quick to pull out a notepad and be like, okay, let me give you this and this. So it's more so, let's run a test and see where your levels are longitudinally, like where you were the first time you came versus how and where you are now, and tweaking it accordingly, because you do get some doctors that, as we were talking about before, that demonstrate that insensitivity. And HRT is not for everybody, and some people can't take HRT depending on if they have a certain situation, like if you have lupus lupus, or if you have other situations that might make those drugs counteract with existing conditions. So
and I learned the whole being an advocate for yourself through this woman right here. Like, Trina is no joke. I've never seen someone with a doctor experience like the way she does her doctor, like how the numbers, the charts, and the you know, she be pulling them on the carpet and holding them accountable for what they're doing and what they're not doing. You know what I'm saying, on a regular basis. So I can dig it. You know, I just wanted to open up and ask these, you know, kind of get this warmed up, so y'all know that black men actually love y'all. You know what I'm saying? I want to know what's going on with y'all.
We know y'all love
and do
as much as y'all hate it. Anyway, I'm just gonna. So anyway. So let's get to it, man. We're talking about the hamster wheel. We're talking about being an entrepreneur, stepping out, and to do your own thing. You know, away from the rat race and the hamster wheel. So I'll just add my little 2 cents, and then I want to hear from y'all. Of course, I haven't worked since December, right? So
must be nice.
Right? It's cool. It's alright, but. You know, my contract was ended. I've been a government contractor since 2001, right? When I got out of the military, my contract ended, and I did a couple. You know, I did some resume posting and searching and so on and so forth and whatnot. And I had an interview, maybe just one interview, right? It was slow. It was slow going. I had one interview that I thought went pretty decent. I didn't want to do it anymore. After that, I didn't get that job, and I said, you know what, man? You know, we're already talking about moving out of the country and stuff, and I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to go full speed ahead with this podcast thing, and push forward with that, and never step back into the industry here in the United States again. What was the moment for you two? Go.
You gonna go?
I can, if you want me to.
You can go.
This was part of the segment what we talked about, Eddie.
Brocky. Stage name, man. Come on, son.
Oh my gosh. Brother being a brother right now.
You know what I'm saying? Producer.
When I think about for me what the turning point was, I was looking at my phone because there's a quote from the special that Dave Chappelle did in 2023 called The Dreamer. And one of the things he said that's always resonated with me, he said, you have to be wise enough to know when you are living in your dream, and you have to be humble enough to accept when you're in someone else's.
Yeah, yes.
So for me, it got to a point where certain situations that I was experiencing professionally were no longer teachable moments. Like, you can only pull a person aside so much to be like, yo, that was disrespectful, or, you know, I don't know that was really thought through when we made this decision, etc. And I realized that my belief system, my morals, and my professional trajectory and how I wanted to exercise my gifts, the wingspan wasn't there for me in that particular environment. So I was like, I'm gonna have to head out, because in my last situation, I could not tolerate micro and macroaggressions for sport anymore. It was no longer possible for it to become a teachable moment, because I realized that was part of that person's makeup.
Right.
That's just inherently who they are.
Right.
And that's okay for them, but it's not okay for me.
Right.
So I thought about these gifts that I was sitting on. I'm like, man, it's kind of scary to leave the known. Like, you know, every 2 weeks you're gonna get a paycheck. You know what your health care is gonna look like, and you know what you are or are not going to get in your work environment. And so there was honestly, there was some fear there for me. And the other piece of when you're stepping into, like you call it, like the darkness, is you become your brand, and everything is on you. When you're working for somebody else, you can kind of say, well, this is their mission, vision, and values, and now it's yours. So I started thinking about what really brings me joy, because we spend most of our time at work. Right. So I'm like, life is too short for this shit.
Working traffic.
Right. And so I'm like, I want to be able to chart my own course. I didn't get my doctoral degree from my health. So, you know, those experiences and thoughts, combined with having a very supportive partner And my husband, Rick, and having somebody to say, once I finally shared with him what was going on and what my thoughts were, he was like, well, if you want to focus on your consulting full time, then do that. So now I had to think about something I didn't even think was possible before. So now I'm like, this is an option? Bet.
Right.
So.
About you?
Well, this most recent out that I took is not the first time I walked away.
Right,
I walked
true.
away from the government before. So my history is civil service. And I've always known that I didn't belong there per way of family, friends, and everybody saying, this is such a waste of your brain power to be in this situation, because there's constantly the promotion patterns, or the lack of promotion, or the competition to put yourself in the race for a promotion, and then not getting it after you do all the things that show that you are overqualified.
Right.
So that piece, I've always had family who's been like, I just wish you would just leave the government, because I'm so tired of the, you know.
Yeah.
And then oftentimes, even in mentorship and talking to people, I've had people, supervisors, leadership say, you know, I really don't know what to do with you. And you're like, you don't know what to do with me. Why?
Right.
Because I can do your job and a couple of other people's jobs.
Right.
And you know I'm just sitting here wasting brain cells away because y'all got me doing this little thing on the side. And so enough of that over the years, you keep hearing that and you're just like, this is some bullshit.
Not to cut you off, I think that's pretty profound. I think there are indications in when people say stuff like that. Because if you have a star on your team, you put them in the game. You know what I'm saying? They're going to be able to do things and whatnot. But it's like, yo, this guy's like a coach on the floor too. I'm the coach.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't need somebody taking my job.
There, as you were talking, Trina, one of the things that you said that stood out to me that kind of aligns with what you're saying about that comfortability in somebody being a coach. And really a good leader begets other good leaders, but not everybody's like that. Some people only want you to develop so far.
Yeah.
And that's why I think people in general, however, I would venture to say Black women, we are over-mentored and under-sponsored. It's easy for somebody to mentor you. You're sitting across from them and you're venting about what's happening and you're spilling your guts about your, career trajectory and the things that you wish would happen. And that person listening and nodding, giving you advice. But sponsorship is different because that person now is there putting more at stake. They're coming into a room where you otherwise might not have your name mentioned or actually brought into that room to sponsor you to have an opportunity to stretch and to grow, to work with companies that you would not otherwise work for because now they're vouching for you. And now they're helping you to create opportunities.
Okay, I see what you're
saying. So
saying.
a sponsor helps to create opportunity, whereas a mentor helps to create a safe space to talk about things, ideate, and things of that nature. And a mentor can be a sponsor.
Yeah.
But typically mentors do more listening and it's very low risk because it's usually behind closed doors. But being a sponsor, that's more out front.
No doubt. So keep on for your moment. You're right about that sponsorship thing.
Yes. So I've had a great sponsor early in my career who passed away and changed a lot. But so then returning to the federal government after taking a break and leaving for about 3 and a half years. And going back and realizing, okay, I'm here to hit a certain number. And once I hit that number.
As far as like years in the government? Oh, okay.
And then I'm going to get out. And what happened was fast track to administration change to tons of things changing.
The current one?
The current.
Yes.
Everything changed for us as far as what the future of my position, of my career, how safe was I going to be? And I pretty much started writing on the wall really, really fast.
You did, yeah. You called a lot of stuff early.
All you had to do was read Project 2025.
That's true.
And you would have known
what
was going to happen.
That's true.
So in knowing that I read it, and I had the PDF, and I sent it to people, and most people didn't open it and didn't read it. And I was just like, so I know what's going to happen.
People were in denial.
He's going to bring us back to work. And then when he brings us back to work, he's going to start firing people.
Right.
And so I was like, so I'm pretty much safe from the second rounds of firing. I'm pretty much safe there. But there's going to come a moment in time where they're going to look at, what does she really do?
And here's your thing. The last person in is usually the first one out.
Last person in.
Right?
Yeah. I just relocated less than 90 days here to a position that I really didn't have a lot of guidance. I was sitting there doing nothing for the first 65 days. Can I talk shit a little bit for you? Because your boss is trash. Oh, she was trash. She was on leave.
She was gone. And then when she came back, she showed her colors as being a fucking witch.
She was a witch that I learned was a witch after she came back. And then she came back and then she left again. So it was just like all this stuff was happening. The administration changed. And then I didn't really have all of my credentials in place. And then he called us all back to the office. Like, I had my credentials for 1 week.
Yeah.
But I think one of the things that you were saying that was percolating in my brain when you were talking about having specific benchmarks for yourself, like there's only so much time I'm going to spend in this space.
Oh, yeah.
And also having the ability to recognize this is not a teachable moment. This is not a matter of if I just work harder, then they'll promote me. It's an awareness. So my point that I'm trying to get at, though, is that in order to step into this, into this entrepreneurial space and be able to take that leap, you have to have emotional intelligence and really know your why. Because it's not easy. It's not for the faint at heart. It's not for, for fun and kicks. And a lot of people are like, oh, I want to be an entrepreneur. People often ask me, how did you end up becoming a consultant? It's like, there's a couple different reasons of why and a couple different decisions that you have to make and test out before you step into that. But emotional intelligence is huge. Like, if you don't understand who you are and the shit that you're not going to deal with, it's like some stuff is a non-negotiable.
Yeah.
Non-negotiable.
I called it the darkness in the beginning, being funny, but really, it's not just it's like people are like, your freedom. You had your freedom now, and there's a lot of stuff to do if you want to be an entrepreneur running your own business. There's a ton of stuff that's not fun. It's for me I'll call myself an artist, right? Because I just been creating forever, and the other side, the administrative stuff, like I hate it. You know what I'm saying? So, and keeping track and of just your spending, your write-offs, so on and so forth, or whatever, all these other things. And I'm just, just touching the surface. Like, I'm not even really making money like that. So Sharita's in a different space. You're in a different space. You know what I'm saying? We're all in different spaces when it comes to this thing. But that's why I kind of refer to it as the darkness, because it's not just all light and fun and games.
It's very dark. What is the one thing that I always say? I just want to generate some money. I just want to make some money, okay? Yeah. Because for real, it's very interesting when you, first of all, when the final check hits, number one.
Yes.
Then you realize your benefits are done.
Yeah.
You realize, oh, snap. Like,
we can't go outside. We don't want to get hurt.
Outside costs $300. If I step out the door, I'm in the negative as soon as I step out the door.
Listen, twist my ankle outside. Damn, that's going to cost me a lot of money.
If somebody hits me in my car, it is a wrap.
Yeah.
And so in all of that, like that happened like November, the last check hit. And then December, I think, then I was like, oh, smack, I don't have no health insurance, right? For a minute, or the Cobra window was there. But then all of this other stuff started happening. And so then it turns out February came and I had insurance back to December.
Right, that's true. Right. It's funny what during that period of time we never really had a conversation. Like, we don't have no insurance.
We were just chilling. Like,
everybody staying. Don't nobody move. Don't touch.
Don't touch nothing. Don't touch me.
Do nothing.
I'm gonna touch you.
But it wasn't. I did realize, and I started like, man, okay. But the great part was in the getting off the hamster wheel and all that stuff. I knew as far as my financial responsibilities, the kids were adults.
Yes.
There was not that pressure of staying in. Most of the time I stayed in because I had kids and I needed benefits and all that stuff because I had kids and they needed that security, that blanket. Government benefits are amazing. Like, you can't top those anywhere. And it was a great way to make sure that they were covered, got everybody through school, out of school. And then it was just like, okay, well, I can exhale a little. We talked about it. We knew it was coming.
Well, for the record, I will say that VA disability insurance does topple the government insurance.
Okay. So it has,
Here we go.
It has done some things.
We free.
Yeah, we are free.
So what do you? So your first pivot. Mm-hmm. You had a first pivot. I think your first pivot was where you are now into what you are.
So I went from part-time consulting to full-time.
Okay.
So I was doing it on the side. I think I'd made the mistake initially and I think a lot of us do this, and I think, again, it could be attached to fears that we call it like a side hustle or a side project, when really it's what we're purposed to do. We just too scared to step out and do it. But yeah, I went from being part-time and penny pension as related to my vacation time to use that to do consulting, and I was like, this is some bullshit. I only get like 2 weeks, and then if I want to go out of town, I can't because I used it to do this, that, and the third. So there's a lot.
What do you mean you get 2 weeks? 2 weeks of what?
Vacation.
Oh, okay.
Like most places you get like maybe 2 or 4 weeks.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, usually to get to that larger number, you got to be there longer or whatever the situation might be.
And what's the name of your company?
It is Ella Consulting LLC.
And you doing what?
I am working to empower leaders to induce positive change in the workspace. It's the how that gets customized.
I need to send you to some of my old jobs. It's on me. I'll pay her. Y'all need help. And let me reset real quick. Then we'll start.
Okay. I've changed industries. I've pivoted. Okay, I used to do wine.
Yes.
And the first time I left the government, I was doing wine sales. I was doing like direct to, consumer wine sales and tastings, parties, all that kind of stuff. And it was great for a minute. And the commission, and I had a team and a downline, and it was MLM, and it was all of that. And then something changed, and it was like, okay, well, this is stopping. And so then I was consulting. Yeah. I had companies who still needed support on the side of the work that I used to do. Mm-hmm. So I was in Florida consulting, and then I went back out in the field or whatever. So then now I decided I wanted to do wellness. And it's weird because I started doing wellness courses for certification. When we first got here, yes, I started the class, and that was in December 2024. The class was finishing in March of 2025 when we were in Egypt.
That's right. Yeah.
Class
Yes. Yeah.
And the plan, of course, is to do the wellness coaching. But then as I learned more about the coaching process and the procedures, you need a specialty. Mm-hmm. So then I had to narrow in on what I want to do, and ultimately decided to go with sleep and menopause. But even with that, right now, the way the industry is and the way people are and the way the economy is and the recession that is actually happening at this moment, people are not concerned with their wellness. That is the first thing that's going off the list.
That's crazy.
They're not paying for wellness additives. Like, they're not, if it's not covered by insurance, if it's not reimbursable by flexible saving plans or HSA, any of that, people are not going to do it.
Right.
They would just rather suffer through it, because right now, gas is high, groceries are high, everything is high.
The price of eggs alone.
People don't have jobs.
And some people using that shit as excuses too, though, yo. Because we see niggas in Mexico and Barbados and moving around.
It's selective.
And, you know what I'm saying? Like they're choosing
is not a focus.
Right. They're choosing to spend the money somewhere else.
Than pay for a wellness coach and do the work.
Right.
Because not only is it's a labor, like there's a give and a take. You have to do some things in order to get wellness accomplished.
No doubt,
yourself.
yeah.
It's not just gonna, I got a wellness coach and snap.
Right.
No, it doesn't work like that. So it's not a priority for people. It's like a back burner. I'll think about it. I'll get back to you. There's a lot of that. So moving forward, I got a business coach. I got a program. I have a program for folks who want to work on improving their sleep. Women
specifically.
Yes, in perimenopause who want to improve their sleep. And then, in addition to that, because I have my master's in education, because I used to teach adults for a very long time, I thought it was a really good idea to have another stream of income.
And because we're moving the hell out of this country.
Because we're leaving the country, to teach English as a foreign language.
Yeah,
online.
So smart. I love that.
Business English, be it adult English. I don't desire to be in a classroom with kids at all. Totally 100% online business English or corporate English programs, because there are a lot of people in foreign countries who have to learn English in order to work in the business space, and it's predicated on promotions, bonuses, all that stuff to make sure that they're English proficient, so that that company can send them out all over the globe to do work. So that is the other piece. So it's like a, you know, I got like a couple of things.
Got some things in motion. You got some motion out here, as they say in the streets.
Yeah, got some motion, and it makes sense because I don't want to feel like I'm tied to a place.
Yeah,
I want us to be able to move around. When I want to work, I want to work, and when I don't want to work, if we want to take a month and go to Bali and wherever else, we can do that. And then when I want to come back and have clients, then I can do a couple of classes and earn some funds and go about my business.
Yo, I know both of you guys. First, let me ask you this: do you guys feel supported in general?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I definitely feel like you support me 1,000%.
I wasn't fishing for it.
You like do it. You know, do it.
Yeah.
You know, we talked about it.
I mean, it's important to feel supported. You know what I'm saying?
It is. I think it's. Well, I know it's far more difficult to pursue a passion or a passion project if you don't have a spouse, significant other, or a family that are supportive of it. It may or may not stop you from pursuing it. However, at the very least, there's a moment where you're like, should I be doing this? Should I be doing something else? And to have your family to step in, like you were saying, Trina, your family was like, why are you wasting your talent doing that? But you have to be ready to acknowledge that and to move forward in that. On the flip side of having a significant other like Eddie, to say, do it. And that's great. That's brilliant. You know, so we do need those words of affirmation, and sometimes we also need the physical affirmation to say, I'm covering you. Yeah. And so for me, that was part of what was helpful too, because I'm not gonna sit here and lie. I like stability. Yeah. And I'm like, bruh,
yes, you do.
And so and so having a spouse that's gonna say, I'll put you on my insurance, and let me know how much coverage you need, and I'll take care of that, and not later on wait for some opportunity to try to like throw it in your face later on. Well, remember when I did this thing for you? Instead, it's like, babe, that's dope.
Yeah. Yeah. We took steps. You know what I mean? And I wouldn't dip into my 401k. I mean, I'll be straight up about it. I know how people in the United States feel about 401k. Like it's the end all be all. You got to have zillions of dollars in there, which is kind of true in this country.
It's never enough.
It's never enough. That's the reality. It's never enough.
Never enough.
Not if you're staying here, especially.
Yeah. So, put a pot of money, in an account so we can live off of it. So she can pursue her thing. I can pursue this thing. But when she was a couple times, it's like, oh yeah, I gotta get my hair done. Oh, I gotta get my nails done. I was like, when is that? So when's that education certification gonna be done again?
He said to me,
should be costing money, son.
Expensive.
You're expensive.
You know what, Trina? He knew what it was when he signed up.
Yeah.
You see how quickly they turn on you fellas? This is my sister right here.
It's not turning. Sister. It's just as your sister, I have to let you know.
Don't make me mute out. I will mute your mic. Yo.
He had his finger poised over the mute. No, the reality is, but that's part of the communication.
Of course.
Is that you before you get married to somebody, you observe certain key elements. Hell yeah. Right?
Some stuff you'll never be able to see. Yeah. But yes, you're right.
Yeah.
You're 1,000% correct.
So like with Rick, Daddy was like, hey, she like to eat. So I was like, you're going to sit here and talk about me in front of me? And I'm like, because he was like, they were just talking. And this is before Rick asked for permission to marry me and everything, which is something else I loved about him, is that he actually asked Dad. And they were sitting on the front porch talking about me. And I'm like, I'm here. I'm right here. I was like, but you know what?
Conversation,
I said, but I'm not mad. That yes, you do need a budget to feed me.
Yes.
Because I don't, by appearances, no, I do not. Just like if it's a salad, you better put a steak on that, some salmon on that.
When she was younger, she actually, I don't know if you still have it or not, but she had an on-off switch. She just hit the joint and the food gone. It's my sister. What we talking about? She get busy, son. We all foodies.
Hands down, I gotta. As we joked about off camera, I have a whole list that I have been tracking,
compiling since
Trina and Eddie were in the DMV. When I would see them go places, Or if they made something and took a picture of it, everything from Trina's lamb chops to jerk wings to Eddie making painkillers, the restaurants they've been to, we legit went through that list last night. He was like, "Can you take that off? That place closed."
I was like,
and it was like Price is Right. He was spinning. It was like, shh. And I was like, yeah, just let's go back through that list and see what's happening.
Yo, let's talk about the mental fortitude that you have to navigate the period of time in getting your business up that you're not making money. You're doing the work, but you're not bringing any money. Because that's these days people go viral and they're getting money fast or whatever. So it happens. I get that and whatnot. Yeah. But the traditional grind, if you're really trying to build something lasting, you know what I'm saying? There's going to be a period of time, where the money ain't coming in. I know I get discouraged weekly. I do. I really do. I get discouraged weekly, and we'll talk about the hurdles in a couple seconds. But this is kind of talk about what it takes to kind of get through that.
Well, I had to disassociate the connection for some form of validation. Like I had to understand that I know I'm not making money now, but that doesn't mean that I'm not going to be successful or that I'm not successful at what I'm doing right now. That it doesn't mean that I'm less than because at the moment I'm not generating X, Y, Z dollars.
Right.
And once I disconnected from the value of the money, I mean, it's great because I have gotten paid for some things.
Yes.
Like once I just, the brain recalibrated and I understood like, okay, so when it's going to come, it'll come.
Yeah. And
right now I'm in a period of building. Right now I'm in a period of, let me make sure those invoices were sent out.
Yes.
And then it's okay, I got paid. Let me see when is that hit? When is that rolling? But honestly, you just have to not become so attached. I don't take anything about this as personal. It is business.
Yes.
It is business, and business has a red line. It had a plus and it has a minus. And if you're building, it's got to go up.
Right.
If you're building, but if you're not building, then
you're not putting in work.
You're not gonna give anything anyway.
Right.
So I just had to mentally not beat myself up. I had to not compare myself to people on social media,
which is easy to do.
Yeah, I had to unfollow some accounts that weren't working for me mentally because I know of where I am, and then I had to not feel like looking to friends for support and like, everybody's gonna think this is a great idea and everybody's gonna I had to actually not even look at friends and not even share or even tell anybody anything. If they choose to ask me about it, cool, we could talk about it. I can give you the skinny or whatever, but there were just certain boxes I had to put things in and not expect everybody to be and not take everything personally.
Any input?
I think it goes back to when we were talking before about, or what I was talking about, having that emotional intelligence to know yourself and being able to identify or ascertain what's going to be success for you. Because to your point, Trina, it's very easy to fall into comparing other people that you see on social media, because this person got a TED Talk, or you can see how many people engage with their posts, etc. I haven't had to take a step back and say, Sharita, you're not here to be a social media influencer. You are here to influence society as it relates to how leaders treat the people that they're entrusted to lead. So if you post on there, you can't take it personally. You're putting out information. People engage with it or not. And what we also see is sometimes people be like, I really enjoy your post, but they have not commented, they have not liked anything, and you have to not take that personally. I think the other thing is having a informal circle of advisors or people that have been where you're trying to go that you can tap into. Shout out to my girl Dawn, who lives in Chicago, that I met in California, and I actually was able to learn a lot under her tutelage as a subcontractor. And so you don't know what you don't know when you're stepping into this world. That's part of what makes it like the darkness. Like you're like a toddler feeling through the dark for the doorknob, and you just learning how to walk and get in your legs. And so I'm able to, and Dawn is one of a couple people, a very short list of people that I can talk to, get advice from, and confide in if I'm not sure, is this normal or not? And especially in the first year, I was like, my debt to income ratio is a little skewed. But what's going on? What is going on? Because you got to pay to get your DBA established. You want to get a logo done, and actually, I worked with you. You had referred me to someone who did my logo.
Okay.
So getting my logo done, getting the DBA. Understanding and really whittling down what is going to be my niche markets, because I started off as a jack of all trades, a master of none. When you talk about the learning and development space, people look at you and be like, oh, you do resumes, cover letters, and help people with their LinkedIn profiles, and you also help people find jobs, and then you also might do some workshops, etc. And so I was all over the place until I realized resume writing and even coaching, I love the intimacy of that work, but it doesn't yield a high ROI. I'd have to coach a lot of people to make what I make when I'm working with organizations.
Yeah. We talk about that corporate thing.
Yeah, and so, you have to think about the ROI and what it is that you want to make and how you can do that. And so I found that those people that I really admire, their business acumen and whatnot, because that's the other thing. A lot of people make success look like you add water, get mashed potatoes on social media. But it's like, how's their business acumen though? Are they setting aside that 30% for their taxes though? Buddy. Right? Yeah. So
that's the other side I was talking about.
Yeah. So really having some people in your pocket that you can talk to about certain things to consider, like, should I have a DBA, an LLC, or an S Corp? What's an S Corp?
Right.
Right? So I think that's part of what helped me get through that first year, because there were some things that I didn't know if it was normal or not. And then once you actually register your business, you get a lot of mail that will prey on you. Not P-R-A-Y, y'all, P-R-E-Y.
Yeah.
Where they're trying to say you have to have a poster in your office about this, that. I'm like, it's only one employee. What the hell are you talking about?
I'm at home.
Yeah, I'm not buying
putting that shit on my wall.
$130-something poster. And so working with Zen Business, thanks to you, Trina, that is how I have somebody to manage that. So they let me know what kind of reports and whatnot or registrations I need to renew for the state of Georgia where I currently reside. Yeah. So it also requires a certain level, I think, of vulnerability to get through that first year. Because that same committee of trusted people that you can talk to and ask questions of are the same people that you can lean onto and into when you're like, I don't know or understand this. You have experience with that, or do you know somebody who fill in the blank? So it's not, to me, it's a very collaborative process. It's not something that you go alone and are successful at.
During that period of time, I recognize that this wall, they say that when you quit, right on the other side of that wall is success, right? Like just keep going. That wall shows itself a zillion times, and success has been on the other side of the wall in different ways.
Absolutely.
The money piece hasn't been there yet, but success has been there in different ways. If you look at our old videos, if you look at my old Whiskey and Kick stuff when I first started, or what were we? Sunday. What was it called? Sensory Sunday stuff. It looks crazy. Like a memory just popped up on my Facebook today, and I was like, look at this. I'm thinking about lighting and stuff, so I care about the art a lot. You know what I'm saying? So this stuff is important to me. I've seen other people online just go crazy and pop fast with the most horrible looking, content and whatnot. And I'm just like, that's what he does, and I understand what it is. But even through understanding, even through the knowledge, even through knowing that the people closest to you are not the ones you need to be seeking out for support, right? You would love it if they do, but the reality is that inner circle, you have to hop over. There's special people within that circle that are going to support you and do the thing, right? But generally, those people closer to you, you need to hop over that circle to get the people that's actually going to spend money, and you know what I'm saying, and even give you the input that you need to let you know that you're doing something dope.
Devil's advocate here. That's not true for me. I relied on both of y'all.
That's what I said. We're the special people in that little circle. You know what I'm saying? I got support from close friends. You know what I mean? I got support from a couple of close family members. You know what I'm saying? Only a couple. You know what I mean?
So and you have to be accepting of that, like we were saying before.
You have to,
because that'll break you down. For real.
Yes, and we're all human. I know I am, and I take it personally sometimes.
Yeah,
I know you said don't.
I think it's part of that emotional intelligence, though, is to be honest with yourself, and if something is bothering you or hurts you, to really acknowledge that. Like, for example, I have a couple people in my life And to this day, this is year 4 of me being a full-time consultant, where they're telling people that I help others with their LinkedIn profile. I'm like, I don't do that.
Right.
And I don't really do resumes. And so I use it as a teachable moment. I don't take it personally. I'm like, hey, here's my website. This is actually what I do. I'll still talk to this person, walk them through what my services are, give them a few tips, if I can, during the free 30-minute discovery or 15-minute, whatever we decide on. But it is important to acknowledge that feeling. If you can, make it a teachable moment and move on from it, because you're right in the sense that sometimes we don't get that kind of support from our family or our close friends that we think should know us well enough to actually understand who and what we do. So on the flip side of that too, when you do have those special people that are in your circle, like my friend Taryn, shout out to Taryn, and they actually understand what you do, they'll bring you forward when they're meeting with a client and say, oh, you need somebody to do L&D? I got somebody for you. You meet them and then it pops off.
Yeah.
So having those people that actually are paying attention and actively listening when you're talking about your dreams and aspirations, and actually, again, emotional intelligence to know, not just somebody who's like, oh yeah, that's dope, that sounds great, cheers to you, Trina and Eddie, right. It's like, nah, you actually are paying attention and listening. And so then when they're in that room with those other people, they can effectively bring your name forward or talk about you to people. So like, I know what Trina does, and I know there's a lot of women like myself who are perimenopausal that need some help. We're going, help me to get some sleep and to be nice to the people around me, sister, please. And so, when she's talking, I've listened so that I can refer people to her. But I just think that's important, not to drop that.
There's the other side of it, like when you pivot, where people are still sending me wine stuff.
Yeah,
and
buddy.
I don't do wine stuff.
Yep.
Right.
And they're referring me for wine stuff, and I'm like, hey, I can give you somebody else who can do it. I can refer you a person who can do it. I'm sorry, I don't do that anymore.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It's like, instead of taking it personally, you just make it a teachable moment and say, let me educate you on who I am right now and what I do. And actually, here's another person that you can actually tap into.
I mean, that's the reality is that we communicate a lot through social media these days. Right. It's just a fact. And the nature of social media is swipe. So while you might feel like you're putting the message out there is clear, that people know, they should be able to see and know what you're doing. They're not, in the immortal words of my beautiful wife, people don't read.
People don't.
Not even a profile description. Or not even the beginning of your video that it has a thing up there that says the words or the description of the video.
It's like little kids, how they look at the pictures only. So if your pictures are not showing them what you do, then they're not going to get it. They need to see you actually in action, working with people and things of that nature. Otherwise, they're going to be like, oh, this person does such. Nope, that's not actually what they do.
Y'all heard it from my sister. Y'all niggas is pictures only. Is that the title of the episode? Y'all niggas is pictures only? Pictures only? Y'all some pictures only niggas, man.
Help us.
All right, we having a serious discussion, but I got to keep it fun. So what are
He's your problem now.
Yes, I am. I'm a problem, man. But
no receipts.
Listen, working in this podcast space is completely different than, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Trying to sell T-shirts or some shit, which is difficult as well. I've done.
Well, everybody has a microphone in front of them. Yeah, everybody's going on Amazon and getting a microphone and starting a podcast.
Yes.
So
yes, you know what I'm saying. So it's tough, and you can't give things away. You know what I'm saying. So there's a whole psychological piece to this that we learned and discovered. Right, she was raising her hand.
Raise my hand, though.
And we were just talking about that too. Remember, I was telling somebody earlier about the pick your brain thing. But go ahead and I'll talk about that after you, Sharita.
People will see the stuff, though. They'll see what we're doing, but they won't co-sign for it per se unless they have someone that they deem whatever valuable enough that now they want to say, oh, I was always watching their podcast.
Oh gosh.
Because if we blow up, so to speak, or if we're shared by whoever, anything like that, if something like that happens, then all of a sudden we'll have all these people who was watching the show all along. And they know every bit. And sometimes people do be knowing our business. And you, like you said, they didn't comment, they didn't like, they didn't share, they didn't say, they didn't do a peep of a thing. And they'll come back and know all of our business.
Yeah. Well, it's like there's a scripture that says something to the effect of never is a man more of a stranger than his own land.
Oh, yeah.
So, all these people that say they support you and things of that nature, I even experienced it in moving away from my hometown of Rochester, New York, and people that I've been able to do business with, I don't know that would have happened if I was living there. Wow. And I think that for some people, there's an allure of bringing in somebody out of state to come and do a session and things of that nature.
Wow.
One of the things that I do try to encourage organizations to do, because I've experienced it, is to look at your internal talent, because people are quick to hire somebody to come from the outside, especially if they feel like it's going to be advantageous to them to prove a point or to get a certain message across or whatever the case might be. So I think that that's important to keep in mind, that never is a man, more of a stranger than in his own land. But the other part is about picking your brain, especially in that first year. Sometimes those picking your brain sessions can yield business, but I think you got to be careful in allowing people to have access to your intellectual property, because people know if you're just starting out or if you are seeking clients that there's a vulnerability there, and they might think there's an opening and they want to pick your brain. It's like, we got 15 or 30 minutes for this discovery call, and after that it's going to be per hour.
Yep.
So and so sometimes that can be, in the first year, I know it was a little bit tough for me to do that, because I was seeking to generate business and I didn't want to turn anybody off by saying, hey, after this point in time, this is going to end up being a contract. But I think it's important to protect our time and our intellectual property in this business. And it can be a delicate line, so you have to, choose the right verbiage to assert yourself in the moment.
I learned that in wellness school. They were telling us off the top, don't just be taking these discovery calls for, 45 minutes and they be free. No, a discovery call is about 20 minutes max free. That's all you get free. Anything after that is you need to book and you need to pay. Because I'm not gonna counsel you, coach you, give you tips on something that I've studied that I'm offering as a service to you for free. Because you think you can book a little something. When I was doing the free stuff, you had a chance. You could have got your 30 minutes. You could have got your hour when I was getting my hours in. But now.
Yeah, and then we all help each other or whatever. Absolutely, so it doesn't apply here. Right. But a lot of times people, they're not really interested in hiring you for your services. They might even want to just be a competitor. You know what I'm saying? And let me pick your brain about, such and such. And before you know trips. The wine trips. So we've seen this. We've seen this type of thing.
I've had people DM me asking me for the entire itinerary.
Oh, we talked about that. Remember, I was saying, "Oh, look at this group," and you were like, "Yeah, no." I tried to collaborate with them, and they were not hearing it.
They wanted my connections. They wanted my itinerary. They wanted to know what wineries. I had a travel agent. And I was like, well, you could tell your people to come on my trip. And she's like, no. I just want your trip, and I just want to give it. I want to make it for somebody else.
Yeah,
that's why it's really important, I think, or I know as an entrepreneur, to make sure that your contracts or your MOUs protect your intellectual property. And so, for example, my contract explicitly says that whatever I provide, especially if it's related to the areas I'm certified in, such as change management or MBTI, which is a personality assessment, those cannot be reproduced or used for anything other than internal education and things of that nature, because people will take your ideas.
Yes.
And they will repurpose them. They'll take your logo off and they'll utilize it.
Try to cut your name, cut your face off.
Absolutely. They try to take your fingerprint off of that thing like it's not yours. So, got to be careful.
Let's talk about some of the pluses and minuses of this lifestyle.
Well, we sleep in.
True.
And some days, I will say this, some days I have to tell myself that I don't have to be like on this, like get up and I gotta go in the office and I gotta, like some days I'm like, you know what? You could go to Starbucks.
Let's go to the beach. Let's go to the beach.
We could go to the beach.
We had a beach day.
It sounded like a really good idea the other day. Yeah. Right? So it's like realizing that like there's no time constraint on me. There's nothing, and sometimes like I tell myself, just relax. Like, hey, And my band will tell me, you seem a little stressed. Maybe you should take a couple of deep breaths and go. My band will tell me that because I'm revving myself up for no reason.
And I think on the other side of what you're saying is that you also realize that it's okay to pull away at 7 p.m. and go do a little work.
Yeah, and it's okay if I gotta go, if I didn't finish a document, or if I gotta check in because I got some alerts from my website telling me that people have messaged me about something. I can do that really quickly and then be done. And walk away and go back to the show. Be like, all right, I'm back. That's it.
There's been times where we're like going to bed. It's like, 10 something 11 and something pop in her head and she's like, let me grab my laptop real quick.
Yeah. Real quick. And then I put it back and go back to bed. But it's allowed me to really like relax on it. And yes, I still have systems running. There were ads running.
Yes.
There are people who are still getting my funnels, emails. Like all of that stuff is still happening and it's functioning, and I don't have to run to go check on it or look at it.
Right.
If an error happens, the error message will show up. It'll come
right,
to
no
me,
doubt.
And it's just like I'm more relaxed about it. I mean, I'm not necessarily earning a lot, but I do know that upon this final certification, because I'm not doing any more after this, that it'll be so easy for me in the marketplace.
Famous last words.
Yeah.
No, I'm done.
Lifetime students right here.
I will be able to put myself in the marketplace, have my little people, get my, and that's it.
Yeah.
And just be done. And I don't have to like stress about it. And also in knowing that, where we're looking to go, it's not going to be expensive where I have to feel like, oh my gosh, I've got to make,
Yeah, it takes the pressure off of you right there.
Takes the pressure off. Yes.
Pluses and any minuses?
Minuses. Well, sometimes it's isolating. I think.
Good point.
It's isolating a little bit. I mean, we have offices and we go in them, but there's not a lot of human interaction.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going somewhere. I'm not, connecting. I mean, I'll do a video.
No water cooler conversations.
Yeah, no water cooler combos, except for the girlfriends who might text me and tell me about something going on. But there's nobody at an old workspace. I have a couple of old coworkers that I do text with who will fill me in on things. So it is kind of isolating. But when everybody checks in with me, they're like, "Oh, you're living a dream. You at the beach today?
Yeah.
You got a photo? How's beans? Is he sunbathing right now?
Right.
Like." Everyone thinks like, and I'm like, Fort Myers is trash. This is not Palm Beach, okay? This is not Palm Beach Islands. This is not my old beach that I used to go to on
We're not walking to the beach
Monday
here
or Wednesday.
Yeah.
It's not the same. Even though we have found a good beach location to go to, that's
about
about 30 minutes from here.
We did.
But it's a little bit isolating, I think sometimes, and I think also with social media and with what seems like connections to people, you're not really connected. You're not connected. You're not. My friends, my quote unquote friends, not connected.
Right.
They might be able to go to the page and go look.
Right.
Not connected.
Right.
Not connected at all.
Pluses and minuses, Sharita? Oh, excuse me, Dr. Gross. Right.
Pluses, you can go to Egypt and Italy in the same year.
Hey, how about that? Let's sound the horns on that one. We did that.
Just being able to have the flexibility to have those elevated experiences, to travel when you want to, or to make things easier in your household. So, Rick has to be on site and work, so I can handle some of the things that seem small but are kind of big when you think about if you have a cleaning service or you have pest control coming or if packages are coming, because we know we got porch pirates everywhere. So, making sure somebody's home to do those things. Or just handle, having a doctor's appointment or getting your hair or nails done, and you don't have to pretend that you're actually doing something else when you're actually it's not lunchtime. Now you're trying to hurry up to take care of yourself. You can just have the flexibility to do whatever, and you can work from anywhere. So it's really what you make it and how you make it. And so for me, what I found is liking structure has also helped me to not overwork myself, because as a consultant, like you mentioned, Trina, waking up late at night, it's easy to work past 5. and justify it in your brain. And so to me, if it's starting to get towards bedtime, I have a running list in my phone of things. So I'll just dump it into my phone, look at my calendar and see who I'm meeting with the next day to kind of like help my brain to like come down. Like, hey, it's time to go to sleep. But also, and I don't always follow it to the letter, but I found it to be helpful to have blocks of time where I block off on my Google Calendar time for administrative tasks, time for research, time for content development. So for me, the part of why I don't miss the water cooler stuff is that I have an opportunity. Here's another plus, is I work with people in different sectors, from education, nonprofit, higher ed, and also, is it higher ed, nonprofit, healthcare, and I think I'm missing one. But
the beauty thing this weekend was
I did. That's a new one. I have a beauty incubator, which again, thank you, Taryn. But I have so many different sectors of people that I work with. And because my business has really been generated by word of mouth, I have people I can talk to and have those experiences with, as far as recapping what happened, what worked, what didn't work, getting feedback, etc. So I don't really miss that part in the whole being in the hamster wheel. I think the minuses goes back to one of the pluses that I mentioned, being able to have a flexible schedule. But having a flexible schedule, sometimes you end up working harder than you have in your entire life. And sometimes you have to. But it goes back to what you were saying, Trina, about recognizing, again, back to that awareness of self. You don't have to be on all the time. And so in some regards, here's another minus, you have to deprogram yourself from what you were doing in the hamster wheel. It reminds me when I was getting my doctoral degree, where I was trained in MLA format writing. And my undergrad... right. You know where I'm going with this, and then you had my undergrad was in English with a minor in Africana studies, so I was trained to expand my vocabulary and to paint this illustrious picture. And then you go to a doctoral program and it's APA format, and you got to be succinct as hell. Otherwise, you're gonna get that paperback and it's gonna be marked the hell up, and you're gonna get agina every time you get a paperback. So it's the same thing. It's like you have to unlearn what you've learned. Wow. And what we've been socialized to believe. It's like you got to always be doing something. If you sitting still, you being lazy. Right. And so you have to give yourself a cutoff point and give yourself boundaries so that you can actually enjoy the fruits of your labor and not be worn out. I think another minus is that sometimes, and this is just a personal minus, if you're not careful, too much of a good thing can be a little bit unhealthy. So it's great that I have these different sectors that I am able to work and move through. At the same time, you have to pace yourself, because having so many activities every single month, then it's like, what time do you have to actually take care of yourself, to spend time with your husband, to enjoy the fruits of your labor, to just chill and just relax? Because keeping in mind, nobody's getting younger.
No doubt.
We're getting older, and the one thing we can't get back is time. So really being mindful. Not all money is good money, and some yeses need to be either no or maybe later.
Gotta be present. Gotta be present. Along with business, right? Is this word we hear all the time, scalability, and scaling, so on and so forth and whatnot. So you might have ideas of your business scaling at some point in your minds, but have you ever imagined having employees?
I did not imagine it, but I've had a few subcontractors, and I just hired an executive assistant. Shout out to CJ.
So technically, that's your employee, right?
Yeah, she is. We're just, it's the trial.
Well, she has her own business, and she's kind of
she's like a subcontractor of sorts.
Okay, got you.
But she's acting as a virtual executive assistant.
Have you ever thought of or imagined having actual employees?
I thought of my kids.
Oh, wow.
I thought of them being employees, like a way to put them on payroll.
Yeah.
To just in some way, shape, or form, because they're creatives and their brains are just, they see things that I just don't see.
Right.
There are things, there's a lens that they both see things through. Kennedy from a production and TV direction standpoint, Jordan from a marketing, branding, and social media standpoint. Between the two of them, those would be probably my most trusted employees that I would hire and pay.
And we're not talking about the hood businesses where niggas got 3-year-olds as the program manager in their job.
Put the electricity in their name.
PPP loans.
I think that scalability also, I feel like there's a thread of vulnerability that runs through entrepreneurship. And with scalability, there's some vulnerability there too, because you have to actually be willing to admit what we don't have the capacity to do, and be open to letting somebody hold your baby, because this is your baby. This Ella Consulting is my brand, and in part it's named after my maternal grandmother. So it's like, I don't play about her, and I can't just have just anybody come in here. But it's like, one of the things that my friend Dawn that I mentioned earlier said to me was to make a list, and she said that she had to do it herself. Make a list of the, $50 tasks that somebody else can do versus the ones that are $1,500 that only you can do.
Yeah.
And that's one of the ways you can figure out what you need. And so for me, I'm big on, do I have the bandwidth to train somebody and help them to understand conceptually how I work and why I work the way that I do? But it's like, once you let go of that and remember that there are low risk, high yield tasks that you can give to somebody that can help you with your business, like things as small as creating and sending invoices to your clients. Or if you have a client where you have a cap of a certain number of hours and certain dollar amount you can't go over, so I have to draft invoices for that client, but also have to keep track via an Excel spreadsheet of how many hours I've accumulated. I can just text CJ and say, can you update the sheet to say this? Those are small administrative tasks, but they mount up very quickly, especially when you're like me and I'm delivering customized content. That's where the bulk of my time is spent. So if that's where the bulk of my time needs to be, I need to free myself up so I can scale and continue to take on more clients or do more projects with existing ones.
You shouldn't be sitting there trying to learn how to build a website. Somebody else can do that for you.
Absolutely not. That's not my lane. That's not my lane.
I remember my early, the Whiskey and Kicks years. I had someone approach me. They wanted to be a part of my, my situation, because it was moving around, and I didn't have the mentality. I was like, I can't. No.
You said, no, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good. Like, you want to come in here, like, this is my thing, and it's so boutique-y and just it rolls with my dreams. Like, I wake up in the morning with ideas. I'll take a shower, I have ideas. It's like, what are you gonna do? I just didn't get it. You know what I'm saying? But later, along the line, I learned that you have to source these things out sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, so I'll pay someone instead of trying to learn, because I love learning. Say all this stuff that I'm doing, I learned just going on YouTube and stuff, and just learn how to operate this, or learn how to use those, or what to get. But sometimes I'll go out to Fiverr and hire somebody to make me a logo, or I'll go out to Fiverr to hire somebody to do this, that, and the third. But if it's something that I love to do, like I do enjoy building websites. I like building a website, getting a challenge, working through that challenge, troubleshooting, and getting to the other side. So some things I just enjoy doing myself, but you have to be smart in that regard. You know what I'm saying? Like, source it out, contract it out.
I think also with scalability, you have to know that it's okay that you want more for yourself. That if you want to scale up, that you see a vision or you have a plan for yourself of where you want to be. And it's okay that you want to scale it in a way, and that you probably are going to need help to get to that place that you see, that you think is the pièce de résistance of your business, going and doing what it needs to do and operating as a well-oiled machine of scaling properly. That it's okay that you want to scale up, and that you don't want to just stay at one thing.
For sure.
You have to be patient with that too, though. Like, I was talking to somebody today about something that they were looking at doing, and I was saying it's important to look at what is your now and what is your next, because sometimes there's some seeds that are already in full bloom and you can pluck them right now and generate income from it right now because you know that the need exists. But then there's some things that are your next where you can drop a seed and you have to nurture it for a while. That's one of the minuses of being an entrepreneur, is that I can talk to a client today, and it could take up to 3 to 6 months for it to pop off. And it has very little to do with me, but more to do with their capacity to actually receive me, whether it's money, time, or who's going to actually work with me. And so that's also important with scalability, is understanding that just because you're ready doesn't mean the market is ready for you. So what else can you do in the meantime to be productive?
And that's what that vision boarding thing. I recently did a vision board thing of what do I see for myself, like, at this moment? What's the vision for the next, like, 6 months. And then, okay, so say you're at that vision that you have for yourself. So now you can breathe a little bit. What do you see for yourself in your vision in the next year? And then big wishes, 5 years. What do you want to be? Or what do you want to be 3 years? So it is in increments. You definitely can scale too fast and not be able to take on, like you see the folks who have the viral event happen on social media and they're like, the business can't handle this amount of...
It's like New York Turk, I think is his name, where he goes to different restaurants. We were talking about the great work that he does and how some of the restaurants end up getting overwhelmed because they don't expect to have the reception that they receive, where it's like they have to turn people away or restructure their business and hire more people.
Shout out to him.
Yeah, great work.
I remember Cake Love in
Love.
DC.
Oh my gosh, I was just thinking about that.
Cake
Are
Love.
they still out?
No, they're gone. They're gone.
I used to love Cake Love.
They had their little spot over on U Street in DC.
They had 2 locations, I thought.
First was U Street DC was the first location. That was the first one. They ended up going down to the harbor and so on, and maybe another spot.
They had the Franconia shop.
Okay.
Because that's the one that I used to go to.
Okay, so the U Street was the first one, and I think didn't they get an Oprah endorsement?
Oprah had them all.
They got an Oprah endorsement, and they scaled too fast.
Yep.
And
now they're gone.
They're gone.
Cake Love. He did
Dope
my
spot.
wedding. He did my bridal shower cakes.
Yeah, amazing cake.
Fantastic.
Scaled too fast. Gone.
He had the best chocolate ganache cupcakes.
Shout out. I used to love that place. Let's see. So, what keeps you going?
Something my grandmother used to say to me all the time that I always talk about. My grandmother used to say to me, you're destined for greatness, right?
Hey, shout out to that.
Just gotta go and do the thing. Go do it. Like, since I was this little, she's always said that. So I just feel like, okay, maybe I haven't reached that place yet. So I'll keep going.
Yeah, indeed. What about you, Sha?
It's a couple things for me. As I mentioned, part of my company is dedicated to my maternal grandmother. Yeah. And so I think in the spirit of legacy, I have to keep going. That's what she would want for me. The other part is when I'm able to help the light bulb to come on for leaders and or for their people, and they come back and say something like, I was watching my people interact with you and seeing them start thinking more critically about how they can properly communicate with each other or engage with each other. It's like my lived experiences are part of my business, so I know what a bad boss or toxic work environment looks like. I know that workplace trauma is real. Yeah. And when I have an opportunity to shift that and the shift sticks, I'm like, I know that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing with who I'm supposed to be doing it with. So it's like, I feel like I'm operating in my purpose by helping others to have the optimal employee experience. And so as long as there's bad bosses out there, we got to keep the work going. And unfortunately, that's not going to change because some people are in a seat that they shouldn't necessarily be in, and they're not willing to recognize the ill of their ways. So
that sounds like a diss track. Sounds like you wanted to make a
another
diss song
professional
somebody.
ether.
Right. Here this dude with another
Here
toy.
he comes with his toy.
God, I'm gonna take it
to the toy box. And
he's like, when you take one, I'm gonna get another one.
I'm gonna go back.
He's trying to jump.
Another one.
Last time you jumped, sir, no jumping.
I just as a moment of transparency, like here, 3 different scenarios, right? You're in 3 different stages. You have momentum. We all have momentum in some way and whatnot, but you're at a different phase, right? You got active clients, so on and so forth. Trina's building her stuff, getting her certifications. I just want to be clear. I am pseudo retired. I am pseudo retired. I am trying to work this podcast stuff, and I'm working this podcast stuff, and making moves with that, trying to build it up, build the community, so on and so forth and whatnot. But I'm in a different stage of mentality or life or whatever you want to call it and whatnot. I am pseudo retired, and we're moving out of the country at some point soon, and whether this works or not, if some other stuff comes through, this will all be gone. Just to let y'all know. I'll be selling all my cameras and everything, and I'll be done.
So dramatic.
It'll be gone.
So dramatic.
So let's start wrapping this this piece. Some of the lessons learned that might help a young person, so on and so forth, or somebody looking to get their thing popping.
I think it's okay to listen to your gut and to find the thing that it might not necessarily be your passion or whatever, but if it's something that makes you feel good and you don't have to think about it and that you can just do it. Like you just do it. It comes to you naturally. It's fun. You love it. You could do this for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Type of situation. So go follow that.
Ooh, make money doing that.
Yeah.
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 Before you get other people involved in your dream, really understand and identify what that dream is. To me, I think that's really key, because once you start talking to people will sometimes inadvertently or intentionally overlay their dreams and aspirations onto yours and say, well, you know what, that's great, but you should do this. You should talk to that person. You should do that. Now all of a sudden you getting confused. You might be feeling overwhelmed or overstimulated, and you're back to the drawing board, or you're delaying your purpose because somebody else's desire to live through you, or that's something that they wish they can do and they would do it a different way, or some people plant seeds of doubt. So I think it's important to get really 10 toes down in your ideal market or your ideal goals, and within that identifying what success looks like to and for you. Because once you start talking to people, and there's a value in that, but once you start talking to people, if you're not really sure, like if I said I want to do learning and development and somebody says, well, you should just do resumes. There's a big market right now for resume writing. And if I just stuck to that, I would be exhausted and grossly underpaid. Right. That's not something, and there's no shade towards anybody who does that exclusively. Right. But the kind of lifestyle that I aspire to live and the kind of impact that I want to have, I have to go beyond resumes. So it's important to make sure that you identify who you are and what you want to do and be able to encapsulate that in a sentence. So shout out to Flossie, I think Flossie Hall, in Rochester. She and I were talking one day, and when somebody asked me about my business, of course I'm passionate about it and I can just go on and on. I'm giving you a verbal paragraph. Like we were talking about people think in pictures. And so Flossie said to me one day, she was like, I think that what you're doing is great. And I'm paraphrasing, of course, but she's like, you need to encapsulate that in like 1 or 2 sentences. And that's where I empower leaders to induce positive change in the workspace, period. It's how that gets customized. Okay. Because then that can be a conversation starter. So it's important to identify those things. Not that they won't evolve, but be grounded in that, and knowing what you aspire to do, what that looks like, and who you are. Yeah.
Oh, here's a question I had too, and hopefully wrap it up here. Are you ever too old to have a mentor?
No. And I think it's important to have several, because there's different people that have different purposes in your life. So, Kevin McDonald, who used to be at Mizzou, who's now at UVA, is one of my mentors. He has his JD and also his EDD. What I admired about him when I was working at Rochester Institute of Technology is his ability to maneuver through different environments and his strategic thinking. So he's one mentor of mine. Then I have my friend Dawn, who's a friend, but she's also a mentor. She's had her business for such a long time that I can go to her, and in my mind, she's somebody who has a longitudinal knowledge of owning a business. Then I have somebody else, Portia James, who's huge in HR, human resources back in Rochester. So I could talk to her for that. So I think it's important to have more than one, and you're never too old for a mentor.
Trina, what criteria would you say are important for picking out a mentor or multiple mentors?
Oh, wow. Well, y'all got to be able to relate to each other.
Absolutely.
Like, okay, I don't talk to anybody now from back in the day, like, when I had consistent mentorship. But y'all have to relate to each other. You got to be on the same, you got to be able to be vulnerable with the person. One of the best things that Dr. Malvo used to do for me was she would just push me. She pushed me. Like, you have to have that person, and you trust them. You trust them with telling them what you want to do. You're sharing your vision, your life, your hopes and your dreams, but also that person has to be able to look at you and see that you can do more.
Yeah.
And put that in you.
Okay. Yeah.
That you can do more.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's really, really important. And sometimes you can have family who give you good feedback as mentorship as well. Sometimes you have family members who do that. Like I had my aunts always to ping pong off of through college and stuff. And sometimes you have someone who's out of your industry that's nothing to do with anything that you do.
Right.
And you have that person.
Okay.
As a voice of outside voice.
Oh,
of
yeah,
reason,
that's important.
Totally nothing related to like when I was doing intelligence work. Like I had someone who didn't understand a damn thing about it, but gave really great advice on what they thought I should do about different parts and facets of my career.
I think that one of the things that I would also put out there, Trina, when it comes to what a good mentor is or criteria, choosing a mentor is more than likability. It's more than, I really admire this person, because admiration only goes so far.
True.
You have to look at how that person moves and how they acquired their business acumen or whatever it is that they have that really aligns with who you aspire to be. Because a lot of times people look at the mentors like that's the old wise sage and they're going to teach you. But it's like if you as a mentee are not coming to them with an agenda, like you actually are steering the ship. With that person. So you should have an idea of what you want to learn and be open to learning that, being open to being pushed. So if you know what the purpose is, it's not just, it's more than adoration. It's more than wanting to emulate them. Right. It's actually understanding that there's a collaborative partner that you now have and an accountability partner and understanding that and being prepared to provide some direction and information to that person.
So a person like my son, Taj, who's a photographer, right? So would it be ideal, I don't know if the word is ideal, but maybe suggested, or is the idea of him having a person who is a photographer, right, as a mentor, a person who is good at business, who's not even into the photography thing as a mentor, and then like you said, a person that's completely on the outside to give you a fresh perspective.
Fresh perspective. I think that's great.
And it doesn't matter if the person is your age, older or younger.
No.
I think all of my...
I think that stigma comes along with mentorship. You think you got to go find this older statesman who's going to, sit back in his office chair and make time for you to tell you what you should be doing.
Listen, I listened to my 25-year-old child when she was 21, when she was making my brand kits.
Right.
Like getting advice from her on, Mom, it's got to look like this. Mom, this is how... No, that's not how it's supposed. This is what you need. It needs this and these elements and needs that element. And her creating that for me and me taking that and putting it out in the atmosphere. And it was like amazing feedback from brands on, oh wow, your brand kit answers every single question. We really don't have anything for you other than with Sharita. Yeah.
What I was saying is that lived experience as it relates to mentors is important, because you were asking Eddie about, is it about, is a person too old or whatever the situation might be. And Bernadette was an older Irish woman, and we were from different backgrounds. She was a nun, and I never even thought about that as a profession. But she was an educator's educator, and there were so many things that she was able to share with me because of her lived experiences, which allowed that relatability that you talked about, Trina, to come forward. So
yeah, good stuff. Anything that we missed that you want to talk about as far as this subject goes?
No.
Cool. So we have one more topic to talk about. All right, forget the whole Cheyenne Bryant thing. We was going to talk about her, but, whatever. We're gonna skip that.
We're good.
Yeah, we're good there. So we all have something in common, right? And so do you remember the group Super Lover C and Casanova Rudd? Yes. Girls that got a lot, pump it up. I got you. Remember them?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you remember do you know the significance of them in our life?
Didn't they perform at the event?
So Sharita and I met each other in middle school. There was a expo.
Yep, the Youth Expo.
Was
it Blue Cross Arena at the time?
Yeah, whatever it was called back in the day.
Yeah.
Was it the War Memorial back then?
No, it's Blue Cross. Yeah.
Right. I worked it, and as a kid, they had some of us, and I was escorting Super Lover C and Casanova Rudd all over the place. Like, they performed there and stuff like that. So I was kind of like, my job was to get them from point A to point B type of thing, and me and some other kids. And my friend Tashi at the time, we're still friends today. Tashi walks over to me with this young lady and basically was like, this is your sister, this is your brother type of thing. And that's how we met. Now, there was one other time before that we encountered each other. Our dad and I were at the mall, and we were walking through the mall doing whatever, and you were there, and y'all had a whole conversation, and it was just like, I looked at you, and it's just like when you just kind of know something. It was like, y'all look just alike. Y'all both yellow. Both of y'all look just alike, right? So it was just like one of those things. But you know, my frontal lobe wasn't developed yet, so it just came and went. You know what I'm saying? So then,
did your dad say anything?
No, it didn't.
And I didn't even know you were there.
You didn't even know I was there. I was there.
I had no idea.
Yep, I was
so
there.
I didn't even know that happened.
Yep, I was there. I remember that day, and so I don't know how many years it was later. I was young. I might have been like 10, 12. I don't remember. But it was middle school when we finally met. Mm-hmm. And this is this whole thing about meeting your siblings later in life. Mm-hmm. It's something that all three of us have in common. And forging a relationship or not forging a relationship or the time that it takes to get to that point. You know what I'm saying? Because we had that too. Like we met and it took time.
It did.
It took time, yo. Like, I remember the day that I was told that, well, it was a bunch of news. That was a whole other set of news that day. But when I found out about, you know, Sharita and from the parents, right? Because we had to just, you know, it had to happen on our own type of deal, right? I mean, it's a complicated thing in the black family, and I can't speak for other races, but I know in the black family, I've seen plenty of families where this type of stuff happens. And at first, it's just like, it's this new thing, and how do I fit this into my life? And I'm not even mature enough. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do I navigate this? And fortunately enough, we were able to forge a relationship. And just build on it. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, wow, you live around the corner. Like, everything's around the corner in Rochester.
I was walking distance of where our father lives.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and then, you know, finally, I don't want to leave this part out. Sharita just showed up to the house. Because this is one of those things, like, okay, here's this husband and wife, right? Here's dad, Rolling Stone, right? Right? And here's this child born outside of this marriage, and here's this woman, this wife, who has to deal with that, and they deal with it in however many ways. But a lot of times it's, you keep that shit over there, and just keep this shit peaceful. You keep that shit over there.
There's definitely an isolation that happens for, based on my lived experience. There's an isolation that happens that is something that forces you to grow up a little bit more quickly, and it also forces you to deal with your emotion. And so not being able to be around our dad and not being able to be around or know you, there was always a part of me that wanted to know where I came from. And like when I met him, I remember meeting him when I was 12 in a store. My mom was like, "There go your daddy." I'm like, "What?" And we were in, I think, Kmart, a Gold Circle.
Gold Circle.
Oh my gosh, we're supposed to be looking at bikes. And I was like, "Hi." And I felt like I was looking in a mirror in the moment. But the reason I say that there's a isolation that happens, and also that emotion that comes up, is when you talk about the woman and how that impacts, you know, in this case, your mom. Yeah. That's something that I wasn't even mature enough to really understand or really deal with, that hurt and why that wall was put up. Yes. Yeah. And then there's also the emotion that comes with it. And so fortunately for us, as we got older, we were willing to have those difficult conversations, because of course, the way that I grew up was different in my mind than how you grew up, and I thought you were getting somebody or getting some things that I wasn't getting. In some regards you did, but if you're not careful, which again, fortunate for us, we actually talk, I could have had resentment. There was always some hurt, but I was able to have these really healthy conversations with you that even have increased as we've gotten older, be like, yo, how did you feel about this? Or did you experience that? Right. So that really helps you to work through it. But as a child, being a product of a, you know, out of wedlock experience, it can be definitely tough. and impact your other relationships.
Yeah.
So.
And do you want to share it all?
I mean, I only met my sister, 4 years ago?
Yeah.
4, right?
Yeah.
4 or 5 years ago?
4 or 5 years ago?
4 or 5 years ago. Mm-hmm. So I don't have how do I explain it? So when I found out about her, it was a very interesting way. My dad told me. He showed me a picture of her. And she was graduating from college. She was graduating from Morehouse in Baltimore, about an hour and a half from where I was living. So all of that time, I didn't know she existed. I had no idea. Not an inkling, not a this, not a that, nothing. I did not know who she was.
Right.
I had never heard about her. I had never had an interaction with her, nothing. But I think the hardest part for me was that everybody else knew about her.
Right. It's crazy.
The entire family.
And I was right next to you during this whole thing.
About her, but me.
Yep.
My other siblings had interacted with her their childhood. It's such a crazy story that it's not for me to speak on certain parts of it. But for me, she didn't know I existed either.
Right.
So she's closer to the age of my daughters. And it was just a really, really, really strange situation. She now lives in another state, and we text.
Yeah.
I know that she's dealing with a lot. She's trying to understand this whole situation of our father and his behavior, and her being locked out essentially of all of us. Her brother, her other sister, me, our whole paternal side of the family, who she's never ever met, and she lived in the same town as them for 20 something years of her life. And so it's a lot for her to unpack. I definitely invited her to my house so she could see me face to face and know who I am, and meet her nieces who were going to college in the same town. One was in the same town as her at the same time. Like, they could have easily been at the same party at the same time.
May have been.
They have been.
Right.
I think you bring up an interesting point, though, Trina, everybody else knowing, or a lot of people knowing except for you. And so I had a couple instances where, one that I remember very clearly, one of Dad's friends, Jet, I'm at a corner store, and this grown man walks up to me. He was like, "Hey." And I was like, "Hi." He's like,
his raspy voice.
Yeah. Who's your daddy? What?
Oh, it sounds like Jet, too.
I said, what? Excuse me?
That sounds just like you would say something like that.
He's
to
like,
a stranger.
Hey, who's your daddy?
Who's your daddy?
I said, Edward McKnight. He's like, that's one of my best friends. So when you talk about processing things and also figuring out where you fit in, or how do you situate yourself? And it took me a while to even do that with you, because it's like, I've wanted so much to know our dad and, have that rapport with siblings and stuff. Sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't. However, for Eddie and I, it worked out because what I love about you is that you didn't come to me with preconceived notions about what you should get from me as my brother. And like certain respect is earned, not given.
Right.
And there's certain things that you expect your sibling to share with you, et cetera, but I wasn't raised with you.
No.
And so we don't have that connection or communication. So I'm not just going to automatically confide in my brother or talk to him about certain things just because you're my brother. And so I think we realize that, relationships are something that you work on, and it's reciprocal. And you have to learn each other's communication style and where your boundaries are and stuff like that.
We just met.
Yeah, right.
Like,
and so you were willing to do that, and also willing to, and I said this to you recently, that what I love about what we have built as brother and sister is that the little girl in me, because we all encapsulate the younger versions of ourselves, a 5-year-old, Sharita, 12, 16, 22, et cetera. But the little girl in me.
Trina got
yeah.
Let's break real quick.
Yeah,
let's
break
real quick.
Take your time.
Oh, good.
Don't kill me. Oh, my Lord. Okay.
Got it.
Yeah. Yep. So what I was thinking about is how the way that we've been able to build our relationship over the years helped the little girl in me, as we all have, younger versions of ourselves within us as we continue to grow and evolve. The little girl in me, I think, like you were talking about, the frontal lobe not really fully developing. And so you meet this new family and, he's older than me. Older. And so, you're thinking like, this person has had access to our dad longer than I have, and are they really, really willing to accept me? And what does it look like for me to be a part of their life, and wanting that sense of belonging and wanting to get to know your family and all the feels that come with that. And so with our relationship, that helped a little girl in me to know that, number one, this had nothing to do with you.
Yep.
And everything to do with the adults that made the decisions that they made.
Yep.
That doesn't make you not a good person because your last names are different, or because you weren't raised together, or because you didn't have Thanksgiving dinner with your brother until you were in your 20s.
Right. That's crazy. Crazy. You want to hear something funny, Trina? When I met Sharita, come to find out, her boyfriend,
oh God,
was my closest friend, Dex.
How did that happen?
It's not hey, I don't care how it happened. I was like, this shit's over.
He was like, hell no.
Me and Dex outside, running around. Like, there's no way.
His girlfriend was? Did he tell you?
He went to a different middle school than I did.
Oh.
So, it was like that. Whatever was happening over there at Monroe, right? Y'all went to Monroe. Whatever was happening where I was, two completely different things. I don't know.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Those lies didn't. He didn't know anything about who I was. Girlfriends I had and stuff like that. I don't know what I don't think so. I mean, he didn't. He couldn't have known before we fucking knew. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, we found out. I had to break that shit up quick.
Yeah.
Man,
Wow, you broke it up.
Hell yeah! I contributed to it at least.
He contributed. Even though there's a bro code, he dropped the brother card and was like, "Listen, I'll tell you right now.
Yeah,
I know you think this is what you want to do, and it's like that show we were watching last night about the lady who was actually this like a serial killer of her wife.
Yes.
Not calling Dex a serial killer.
Not at all.
Dex is good people. Dex is good people, and we were young, etc. But there's things that Eddie knew that I didn't know and didn't understand, and he was like, no, and I was like, but I love him, and he loved me. He gave me this necklace with that. I got the heart, half the heart. He got the key on his necklace, and he was like, I don't give a damn.
You better take that shit back to memes.
He was like, wrap it up. It's been great for you, but you need to head out.
No,
so
you gotta figure something else out.
Yeah, but he came at me from the standpoint of
a place of love.
Yeah, a place of love. He wasn't dissing Dex or nothing like that. No. He just didn't want to see me hurt. And so again, that validated for me that he's, in my mind, what a brother should be, looking out for your best interest, and also his friend's interest. Because it's like if something had popped off that really truly hurt me that I couldn't come back from, that could have influenced their relationship, and they knew each other before.
Yeah,
we
since
knew
kindergarten.
Yeah,
basically, listen, our parents is wilding. That's what we can all say here. All of our parents was crazy and wilding out. Our families are wild.
Honey.
There's more family stories, and we're not even gonna get into all those.
Absolutely not.
But it was wild. But just one relatable thing though, like even from a family member's perspective, the difficulty of accepting a new person, right? Or a quote unquote outsider. Like my father, our dad, he has another brother. Like he has another brother. He would come around every now and then, and it was like it always felt different than the uncles that I knew and the family that I knew. He was the other brother, and it's just a weird family dynamic thing and difficulty when it comes to building these relationships with someone who's a quote unquote outsider. So it just gives more credit to us. You know what I'm saying? The way we were able to build our relationship. And I'm glad you and Trina, you and your sister are talking and texting and stuff like that and communicating, because she is a younger person and their way of communicating is through text.
It's different.
It's different, yo.
I think the other thing that you brought up too that just reminded me, I remember meeting one of our aunts, I was working at, I'm about to date myself again. Damn it. Hey, Barbara Moss.
Barbara Moss. Did y'all have a Barbara Moss store in Long Island?
No, Barbara Moss. It's a clothing store. It's like Learners, but it's a different level.
Kind of like Patrick Harris.
I don't even know what that is.
That's
Probably.
like
That sounds about right.
They're cousins.
Harris.
But I remember I was working part-time at a Barbara Moss, and one of our aunts came up to me in the store and was like, "You look just like my brother." I thought that was you. And I'm like, who are you?
Yeah.
And so I know that they were, in their mind, they're trying to process that they have, a niece and whatnot. But it gives the feeling of kind of being in a petting zoo. Like, why are you, it's just kind of weird. Like when our grandmother died and at the funeral, there are other family members that had never met me before. And Dad was introducing me saying, "This is my daughter." And they're like, "Oh, well, she looks just like her. She's so pretty. Like, did you expect me to be something else?" Like, so just really,
family don't know what to say.
They don't. They don't. They're like in your face, like, "Oh, you have freckles just like cousin so and so. That runs in our family." Yeah. And so just for me, just being able to continue to understand that they're processing just as much as I have been, and not to take it personally, even though internally I'm like, whoa, it's just a reminder. I looked like my grandmother said, you look like your daddy spit you out. There's no way. There's no way he could deny you. But however, for many years that was the case.
In little ass Rochester.
Literally, I was in walking distance. I grew up in walking distance.
Yeah.
First of all, the whole town is my relatives.
Right.
So
right.
Not the whole town.
How he was able to hide her away like that for all of, although my sister did come to my grandmother's 80th birthday party.
Yes.
She did come. My father was there, and all my aunts and uncles were all present. So she got to meet everybody at once, and it was a moment for her to process. Like, I understood she was processing. Number one, this is your grandmother, and she's 80 years old, and she's lived in the same town as you your entire life, and you've never met her. You were robbed of meeting your grandfather, and now, oh look, you got 2 uncles and 2 aunts, and they're all just like, "What?
Yeah,
this is interesting."
Yeah. Crazy, man. It's crazy, man. We're all blessed to be here, healthy,
absolutely,
happy.
One day we can have my sister. On the show.
That'll be dope.
Yeah.
That'll be dope. You know what I'm saying? I set everything up again. I got the formula now. Good money. Sharita, appreciate you, man.
Yes,
Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, it's an honor.
Proud of you both, you know what I'm saying, in various ways. Everybody's making their way
appreciate that
through this life of ours, these lives of ours, and doing our best. And I think we're all doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Not too bad. It's not too shabby. It could be way worse.
Absolutely.
I got health insurance now.
Shout out to VA, yo.
Yeah, and I was able to come visit because I just came from doing business in Fort Lauderdale. So I hopped on the bus 2 hours and came over.
She reluctantly hopped on the bus. We're not gonna get into all that.
After I rode that bus, I didn't want her to get on that bus.
Yeah, listen, both my sister and my wife, they both special, y'all. They special. I love them though. I love them. Love y'all. And any parting words? Y'all good to go?
Good to go.
We gotta eat. Everybody's hungry.
Yeah.
I can look at y'all and tell y'all hungry.
Even Beans hungry.
Beans,
listen, he's like, yo, what's up?
Yo, we out, man. Appreciate y'all. Y'all be good.
They uncovering it all. Married, mature, and unfiltered. Yeah, it's real. Humor and honesty and thrills. Guaranteed to give you chill.